and welcome back to my channel Illustrator. I am Tor and today we are trying out these paints right here. So if I just open them up. So I did show these briefly in a haul video, which I will link in the card above and in the description below for you to go and check out if you so wish. And today we are actually going to get around to actually having a proper look and test with all of these things inside here. So if I open it up, we have like a little info sheet on how to use the water brush. I butcher their name, so if I just try and say it, this is apparently, how do I even say this? Kuretake Gansai Tambi. Oh god, I would have totally massacred that. I am so sorry. This includes gold, dark pink, lemon yellow, brown, deep blue and green. It says here, Japanese traditional solid watercolours for professional artists and crafters. It says here it also includes a Mangaka flexible fine point brush tip producing a thick and a thin line perfect for drawing, inking or outlining, water-based pigment ink. And it also includes the Brush 20 medium, portable water brush for those who wish to paint absolutely anywhere at any time. It's lightweight in design, permits portability and eliminates the need to carry water bottles. So that's basically what it is and how to use the water brush. If I can just show you without the light reflecting. There you go. If you need to read that, you can pause that now. So these are the paints in here. This is the pen. I know all about this pen already. I've tested it out and it has been in many of my videos. So I won't be specifically testing this, however I will do like a little demo for you guys to see in a second. This is the water brush. I haven't loaded it up yet, but I do have some water to the side ready. I do also have a few brushes to the side in case I fancy like dabbling with those as well. But I think we'll, ooh, that's different. I haven't got one with like a fancy little, I'm assuming that's suction and restriction. It's fancier than my other ones I've got. Ooh, this is promising. Okay, so I've got a bit of water in there. That wasn't necessarily the most successful of water intakes I've ever done before. So let's test the pen out. This is the Mangaka Fine, which comes within the set. So if I do like a demo here, let's draw a box with 2 fat lines and 2 skinny lines. So we've got 1 fat line, 2 fat line, 1 skinny line, 2 skinny line, and you can do this in a range. So if I just do like a zigzag, that's kind of like a medium you can do. It just depends on your pressure on the pen and what. If you hold it slightly lower, you can get a thicker line from the edge of the pen itself, and you can build it up. The higher up and more of a direct, and how light you are will get you a lighter line, like that. So there is quite a lot of variety available with this, which is pretty good. Actually, what might be quite interesting for you guys to know is that there are other flexible pens like this actually available. I have a sepia one I picked up by mistake. The exact same brand, the exact same type of nib, just sepia. So you'll be able to do the exact same with that, just in a sepia tone. And it's pretty nice for a slightly more toned out version of what you were after. So yeah, in my pencil case I'm also carrying around the medium version, which is slightly larger nib, as you can see. In fact, if I do a comparison, that's the medium here and this is the fine on the paper. You can see a difference in the nibs side by side. And in actual brush strokes, if you are interested, this is the medium, which is much broader on the side. And mine's got a little bit of wear on the end, so there is a bit of a double line going on. So that wouldn't be the case with a brand new one, but you can also get the same really fine lines as you can do with the fine with the thick. It just depends on how you're using that. So I do tend to reach for this medium one actually more than the fine, but I use both a lot. So if I just do 2 giant eyes, I say giant, they're not really giant. Let's pull out Budspurt again, shall we? Haven't drawn Budspurt in a while. Budspurt is my bee buddy. Though today he has eaten a lot of marshmallows, let's just say. Because in England at the moment it is snowing, so we had hot chocolate and marshmallow. So I think Budspurt would have probably have done the same. So let's give him some shoes. He can be waving at us. Nothing too tricksy. We just want him to be having a good time. In fact, I don't know what he's doing right now. He's probably reaching to the side to be like, this hot chocolate this way. Beep, beep, beep. Hot chocolate this way. He's reaching for that. I don't know, that's the kind of silly doodle. And poor old Budspurt has gained some pounds from his chocolate experience. But poor old Budspurt can go on a treadmill and just get healthy. Have more healthier choices, Mr. Budspurt, please. Though, saying that, he's a bee. He eats nectar, which is essentially sugar. So, I don't know. For a bee, that must be healthy. That's very different. It kind of cleans the nib as you use it, which is interesting. The other ones I have been using aren't as sophisticated as this brush, and already I can tell that this brush is way nicer, and I might have to change up how I'm testing it. So we've done the brown first, which it feels really nice going on, but I feel a bit clumsy with it. I'm feeling very noobish. So we'll move on to the blue, which I think I'm going to mix up how I'm doing it. So I'm going to put down some water first. And then, ooh, okay, lots of water. We'll put on lots of water first, and then we'll take some blue. Ooh, look at that. So that's it in its pure form. I like seeing it fade out, which is why I'm doing the squares. This pen seems to be naturally pushing the ink off it, which is really cool. I love this blue tone. It feels very natural. Don't know if that's coming across over the camera, but it feels really good. Let me just wipe the excess off if there is any excess, and we'll do the same again with the green. Okay, let's try the gold. I have no idea how this is going to turn out because I've never painted with gold before. So this is going to be a completely new experience. Ooh, it looks different. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's kind of like a bronze. Ooh. This is so appealing to my inner teenage girl. That is so gold. Okay, so initial coat is very bronze-like, but that second bit and a bit more, wow. Oh, that's really nice. Wow. Okay, I am in awe of that. This set is worth it for the gold. To me, that's a really nice gold pigment over here. I've always wanted to try gold pigment paint and I've never tried it, so now I have tried it and I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to see how this dries, and yeah, we'll have a look at that. But actually, before we continue, I'm going to test to see whether this pen is water resistant to the inks. So before I let this dry, and we'll come back in a minute, I just want to try and see whether this ink here is water resistant. So I'm just going to put some yellow on Budspurt and put some colour in the box and make sure it runs over the edges to see if this actually smudges in any way. So let's do that and find out what happens. So I'm going to start with Budspurt because it's a paler colour, and I'm just going to take the pigment straight from the palette instead of mixing it on the paper like I did last time. Ooh, it sits straight on top of the black. Good, make sure it runs over all of those lines for a proper test. Sorry, Budspurt buddy. Well, nothing seems to be picking up and moving straight away, so that seems pretty good. I'm just going to put some yellow squiggles, though that did come off a little bit dirty, that squiggle, and that one did as well. So there's a little bit of pickup by the looks of it. Okay. Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of pickup, but not massive. Okay, so that was interesting. Let's mess around with a bit of water. So say we're water heavy and we're just going to put this top half really watery. Whoa, okay, that was a lot of water. Okay, so there is a lot of water on that one. Oops. So, well, this will be testing it, won't it? So we want lots of inky bits, inky painty bits on the bottom. Wow, look at that. Do you see that, guys? That was nice. Add a bit more pigmentation. We want that to have naturally bled by itself, and we want to see if that top line bleeds out all by itself. Okay, so as you can see, the little test on the square has gone well. It hasn't really bled out at all. I can see it's still a little bit damp, but apart from that, it's held its own and it seems to be pretty good, which is excellent. But while his lines seem okay, when I was painting him, you would have seen that he did pick up a little bit of the ink, but I think that might have been because he was a pretty fresh doodle. So I would recommend letting your ink dry a lot more than just a couple of minutes if you are using this on a multimedia paper like I am today. This box was actually drawn a long time before I wet it with paint, so that's probably why it held its own. As you can see, the swatches have dried pretty well. You get a good blend and tonal value from the brown, so you can probably get a good range of skin tones or natural tones from that, no problem. The blues were harder to blend out, however, they do have a lovely tone. Let me see if I can get this to zoom in nicely for you. In fact, let me put this down so it doesn't shake around so much. Okay, as you can see, the blues have got a really nice, really good pigmentation going on. It didn't blend smoothly so well, but as you can see, where I was blending it off of the end of the brush, it did get a lot of variety in tone from that, even if it wasn't as smooth. You love this kind of effect on watercolors, so it's not the end of the world for me that happened, and it could have quite easily have been my fault because this one was quite a wet example, not quite as smooth as this one up here. So that was probably a mistake on my end rather than the paints. So don't take this as a, it will definitely do that. It probably won't if you're good at blending. And like me, I'm still learning. So, you know, have a bit of a play. The green did something similar. I put down the water first and then put the colour on the other side, and you get this kind of blend thing going on. So I think that was just the way that I was testing it, opposed to getting a smooth line, and you can again get some good pigmentation variants from that. This one was a lot easier at getting very mute colours from it, that this yellow would have been a lot. It's very bright in the pan, but I wasn't expecting it to be as bright on paper. I have some other paints that I have used that have not come out this bright in the first like little try to the side, and again you can get variants to the side. If I put this red next to this one, it looks very red in the pan. It's deceiving because when it's on paper it does not come out red really at all. It's much more of a pink, which doesn't offend me too much, but if you are relying on this as your main colour palette, this might be an issue for you. Might be something to consider if you are thinking about getting a little set. Perhaps get a set bigger than this, but this again does have some great tonal quality come from it, and unlike the green, this pink / red comes out and lasts a lot longer. So this is the gold. I have never painted with gold before, so I was very much like, wow, this is so amazing, what is this? And the first brush stroke I did, it looked very bronze. So if you're looking for a bronze effect, do a quick wash over the top or in the section that you want, you'll get a very bronzy. If I just cover that bit up, you can see that looks kind of bronzy. And then the more you layer on, the more gold and more metallic that is. This actually looks a lot better in person than it does on camera, so that would be something to keep in mind if you were thinking of making prints using this. Now, I kind of thought that I would like to have a little play with the paint and just do like a little doodle while I was waiting for the rest of it to dry. So what I did under here, if I zoom this back out and then just remove my hand, you can see, oops, the camera's wobbling. You can see I just had a little go at painting a quick branch. I did not use the provided pen for this. I used a mix of various brushes that I grabbed out of my brush pot. I used this bad boy to go in through with the branches, mainly to try this brush. I haven't tried it before, so I was curious. It worked quite well, but I much preferred painting with these paints with this long brush. I felt like it really picked up the pigment and was fun to do like the shadowing under the branch. And then this cheap little brush has really seen its days really, but I kind of wanted to give it one more little bit of a play, and I just did some squiggly petals. But to be honest, I was just testing the variants. I wanted to see how they looked layered, I wanted to see how they interacted with each other, and to be honest, it's quite a lot of fun. I want to have a go at doing something a little bit more than just like a quick paint doodle in the future, but for now, as a first sort of look at this kind of thing, I kind of like it. I really like these petals on this side with like the double top with the single base, more than just like the quick brush blobs and then the more blobby blobs. Very good technical terms, but all I was doing with these ones, if I include the footage you'll see, but I was just sort of blobbing it on, not really minding how it looked on the paper, more concerned with how the ink or the paint spread on the paper and how it dried. That was more what I was after. And as you can see where the water lied, it did create that line that we saw earlier. So that's just depending on how wet or dry you paint with. So that will be down to each individual painter, artist themselves. So that is something else to keep in mind. If you want this sort of washed out look, you want to go in heavy with water. If you want a more cohesive blend, you want to be a lot smoother, so you'd want to start with the colour first and then sort of wash it out as you go. So there's some tips from what I have learnt so far from fiddling about with these paints. If you are curious about these paints yourself, I did find them on Amazon. They weren't too expensive, and I will leave the link in the section below for you to check out if you are curious. I would recommend trying any and every media you want to anyway, even if you're remotely curious, just so that you know whether you liked it or not. That's just me though, I like to try all the media. Any media and every media that I can try, I like to try it at least once, just to dabble, then you know what you do and don't like. So from first use, I would say I definitely like using them. I would like to have a little bit more of a go with them. So thanks very much for having a look at these lovely little paints with me, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the section below. If you have any recommendations of any other arty medium you think I would like to try at least once, also feel free to comment those in the section below. So again, thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like if you liked, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!